Hello and welcome. My name's Ariella Indigo and I'm your host for the Multidimensional Human Experience Global Summit. The reason this summit's been created is due to the amount of us who are emerging spiritually, often right from birth, and due to our heightened sensitivities, it's now the case that more and more of us are being given reductive mental health labels and prescribed pharmaceuticals without taking into account our multidimensional natures and the spiritual awakening process itself. Through my own experience growing up and what I've seen with many others also, this linear third dimensional approach mostly serves to erode our self-esteem, dampen our natural and intuitive abilities and knock our confidence, which in turn gives rise to destructive behavioral habits like addictions, for example, and volatile emotional reactions, because our realities are not being properly supported and the correct guidance not being made available. And sadly, as we know, some highly sensitive souls are choosing to leave the physical plane or are sadly not able to get up and running so that they can evolve into their higher purpose, which is again due to their sensitivities and the lack of solutions available which take into account our multidimensional natures. So this summit looks to address these issues and raise awareness about multidimensional humans, to give fellow empaths, light workers, sensitives, starseeds, and really anybody who's watching this summit some support so that we can confidently align with our highest potential and make a positive impact in the world during this critical stage on Earth and in humanity's evolution. In today's interview, I'm excited to be joined by Jodi Serota, who's one of New York's leading life-changing metaphysical educators, working as a channel, vibrational healer, and professional artist. Her in-depth intuitive abilities and remarkable sound healing powers are used to create initiations and activations that instantly make major shifts in consciousness and healing. She offers individual sessions, classes, multimedia concerts and events for consciousness raising. She was the owner and creator of Meta Center New York and is co-author of the book Healing the Heart of the World. Jodi, thank you so much for being here and a very warm welcome to the summit.
Thank you. I'm excited to be part of this. I think it's really important that you're doing this, and I'm grateful that you're doing the work and everybody else who's part of this. It's fun to be part of a whole group of people looking to do good things in the world.
Awesome. No, thank you, Jodi. It's lovely to connect with you. And yeah, I've been really looking forward to this interview. As you know, you came through from a mutual friend of ours. And as soon as I connected with you and your work, it was like, yeah, this lady needs to be part of the summit. So it's a real pleasure to be speaking to you.
Thank you.
So, if we could just start off, I'd love to ask you to share your story, a bit about your story, your awakening journey with the viewers, so that we can understand, you know, what your journey's been like and how you came to align with your higher purpose.
But when I was younger, I used to, my background is painting. I'm an artist, so I've always been sort of slightly offbeat, I guess. And but that was really what I studied, and that's what I'm still a painter. I actually work with healing through my art at this point, but I've been a professional painter for years. But I used to read all sorts of books on mediumship and things like that, and psychic development, but it wasn't because I thought I was going to be doing this, but I was always very intuitive when I was young. And when I was about 19, I had an experience where a boyfriend of mine who I'd been seeing for 3.5 years had disappeared. And it's an unusual story, but it was never found. And at the time, I had been brought up Jewish, but I wasn't religious at all. And I didn't even know if I believed in God. But at that point, I wasn't sure I believed in anything when that happened. But it was never found. But what it did for me, it's actually an interesting thing that happened. Something shifted in me at that particular time. I was about 19. And I went through a major change. I was searching, I thought, for him. And what happened was it became a search for myself and my own connection to God and all that exists. So by him affecting my consciousness through him leaving, it created a way of not knowing to come into really knowing within myself and my own connection. And over the years, I started right away. I kind of just, when I started to kind of just know things and meditate, and as soon as I meditated, I had angels and ascended masters through and speaking through me. And it became all kind of, but it was all very comfortable and natural for me. And I realized I had done a lot of this before in other lives. And I was coming into this, and I actually was very quiet, and I used to observe a lot of things when I was younger, but now you kind of can't stop me talking because I'm here to be, a speaker and to bring forth information. I'm a channel. What's developed over the years from all the work I've done on myself, each time I would peel off another layer of my own work on myself, I would come into new levels of my own consciousness. And my guides used to come to me and talk to me telepathically, and they would have me they taught me to go into like my consciousness into a corner of the room and meet them there, or they'd meld with me and show me what that felt like. Then they would start to give me information. I used to sit for 3 hours every morning, just do automatic writing, just to guide me and give me information just for me. I wasn't using this for anyone else. But as I kept doing this, they kept giving me more and more information of things that I needed to do out in the world. And they guided me to start to do my work. At the time I was doing Reiki healing. I was a Reiki master, putting my hands on people. But when I would do that, I would get so much information, and I wouldn't know what to do with it because I was told not to really just let the energy go, don't do anything else with it. But what happens was they kept telling me you need to start talking and give the information. And it would help me I would feel where they needed the energy shift, and then I would give information around it to help to clear it and understand it better for them. And they would move through me, and then gradually sound started coming through my voice. So I just every time they would tell me different things and guide me and teach me different ways of understanding all different kinds of energy. And at one point, so I started to do sound through my voice from other dimensions. And then later down the line, they would give me ideas of they kept telling me how to get out into the world so people would know who I am and be able to then eventually create a center, which I did, a metaphysical center in New York. But as I was doing all of this, what kept coming up for me was that I needed they kept telling me I was trying to find out, how do I connect my art? I didn't want to just leave my art, I was an artist, and then do all this work. So they told me to paint paintings for myself as an exercise, paintings with one color only. I do abstract work, so only use one color. So I would get the complete resonance and frequencies of each color. And then when I would paint eventually for people and for myself, I would be painting for healing and for awakening consciousness, and I used to do past life power paintings, all these different kinds of things. And then what it would do is it would actually help me to put that all together. So then eventually they told me to do concerts where I project my art really large so that people can be infused with the visual vibration while I bring in sound, and then light languages, which came through me when I was working with crystal skulls that they guided me to. And then ancient crystal skulls, Max is the name of Max, the ancient crystal skull. And then eventually to do these concerts where it was creating visual stuff, audible, and then kinesthetic vibration by just giving the information that I was channeling. And I do Akashic record readings, the readings of your soul's existence through all time and space. So all of this kind of stemmed, not such a good situation for me at the time as a human, but eventually I understood the reasons why I had to meet this person, to go through this, and our souls gave each other the opportunity to learn from each other. And eventually I was told, I was always searching also to find out what happened to him. Like I went to a few different people who were known psychics and things like that. And through the process, I wasn't getting information that I needed for my own completion. And my guides kept telling me, you're going to one day complete this yourself. And I did in a dream or a vision I had where I saw him directly and talked to him. And I used to read books when I was younger, what happens after you die. And my awareness with this guy was, I wanted to just know what happened to him and where he was and where was his body, even if he got killed, and what happened. And when I had this vision, that was a really deep, full, complete vision with all the different senses and everything. What happened is I got to see him finally on the other side. I used to dream about him on this side. But when I saw him there, I finally got to talk to him. And the only thing I asked him, instead of where are you, what happened to you, and all that, is what is it like on the other side? That's the question I asked, which is when I was a child, is what I always wanted to understand.
Awesome. Did you get an answer?
I did. He said that it's the same as what we have here. You go to schools to learn different lessons and to evolve on that side as well as we do here. And he actually said to me, I have to go really quickly because I'm meeting with my teacher. He said one of his lessons was he had to be on time and learn about time, which was interesting because that's not here. But so I got to experience a very interesting thing, and I got to complete it myself by having that meeting for me, just connecting with the higher spiritual understanding with him and through him, and understand. I didn't have to know what happened to him. It was more about what that was, how that made sense for me. And I had, years ago before that, I had a download of information that came to me when I woke up one morning, and it was this thing about the guy, his name was Scott. Scott disappeared and your search began, and your search was, you thought your search was for him, but it was really to find your higher understanding of your connection to God. And to bring that through in your gifts and to bring that into the world. It was the beginning of a book that I haven't written yet, but that will be maybe next.
So I think it was a massive catalyst for you and your journey, and you believe that there was a soul contract between you for that experience to unfold for you.
And like you were saying before, different things have happened in your life too, where things have brought you to where you are now. And if you follow what the understanding is, if you can get that, and if you can be able to understand everything is a catalyst, things are mirrors for us to learn. And it's always about what do we need to learn within ourselves to bring ourselves into a more of a full alignment of our higher conscious perspective.
Absolutely. That has been, I love that. And that has been such a blessing to myself. And I'm sure many, if not all the viewers watching, that we can transmute what is sometimes painful experiences and confusing experiences and really see it from that higher perspective that, like you say, everything is a catalyst and everything is actually giving us an opportunity.
And also, if we actually just, even though while you're in it, it's not so easy to do that as humans. If you kind of understand, if you could actually kind of pull yourself away from it for a moment and just say, okay, there must be some higher understanding here. There must be some lesson or something to get out of this that's going to take me to the next place. And hopefully to a higher level, not to a lower level. The lower level is when we react instead of create our lives. So as we're doing this, where reaction, it's interesting, reaction and creation are the same letters. So you get to kind of choose how you want to react to something or create something.
All right, that's cool. Reaction and creation. And
reaction, creation, you have a lot more control if you want to think of it that way, but you have a lot of creative license, but you get to really decide what makes sense for you to move forward that would move you out of the sort of the drama of something or the pain or sadness to get to the next level. If we understand it, usually we understand that later, not while we're going through it. Because as humans, we still have to feel things and go through all the stuff.
Absolutely. Oh,
still there?
It's just frozen a little bit. Okay, I got you though. I think those are wise words, and I think that everybody who's watching this will be able to totally relate to that. Jodi, you've been sort of, around, if you like, the metaphysics scene for a long time, and have really been, opening up a center and being the owner for that. You must have, over the years, you must have really come across some incredible people and experiences. And, can you tell us about sort of how this has been for you? And
I've been doing my work for probably over 30 something years. And and then all of this kind of evolved, but my guides told me at the very beginning that we're going to be preparing you and getting you out there in a certain way. And when I first started, I was afraid to speak in front of people because that's my background. I was like very quiet. Once I came into this, and they gave me what my mission was, to do all this work and to be out there and affecting people in all these different ways, combining my creativity and the channeling and the healing and all the things that I do. They told me that there was going to be, that I was going to create a center if I chose, but I had a choice, but it was part of my work to create a metaphysical center, and it had to be in New York City. I live here because I was like, can't be in the country. And they're like, or on an island or something. They told me it had to be in New York City because it's such a huge portal of energy, or vortex, if you want to think of it that way, where it was connected to, it's a melting pot. It's connected to people from all over the world that come here. So, and it's a connector to all these other places and all these different kinds of people. And it was for unification, unity consciousness, bringing all the groups, all the connections of all cultures. And but they told me it had to be a metaphysical center, because I do work metaphysically, and I used to try to get into places, and I'd be a little bit too out there, even though I can talk in a grounded way. So, but what happened was that they told me that they also told me exactly like how big it should be with a whole floor of a building, all these kinds of things. So eventually created this center. I looked for 2.5 years to find what they were telling me was the right place. So once I did, we had it for 9.5 years. Unfortunately, they doubled my rent and I had to close. So now we're still looking for another place. I'm trying to decide if I'm meant to do it still at this point, and that, but with hopefully other people's money at this point. So we're trying to work that out. But everybody I know is still, that I've had experiences with through the center, they all keep asking me, they want a place for us to gather. A big part of my work also, in addition to helping people to raise their consciousness and anchor in their divine presence and to really bring through the fullness of who we are, is to open the heart, going into the portals of, the gateway to the multidimensional heart. And that's the way to connect to everything. So, but the part of the center, I was told there was going to be another version of this. Even years ago, they told me there'll be 2 versions. It'll go to the next level and it will be much bigger. We had a pretty big place to begin with. And through the process, though, it's interesting because it kind of took me a little whack, kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable that I had to eventually close down. I didn't realize that was going to happen. But all these different things have happened. But I'm an artist, able to really create a beautiful space, and I know a lot of people, so it was all set up for me to be connected to all sorts of people. But we had wonderful people from all over the world. They told me it was going to be international, and even without a budget for that at the time, people they're still calling us and trying to find out if we're still open. And it became this amazing place, which for me it was great because in the industry that people came to us. I didn't really have to go out to them to find out what's happening and just be up on all the newest things happening in our industry of this work. So
that's awesome.
We also had a lot of unusual people that came in at times, but it was always fun, and we always kept a good sense of humor. But it was great because it was wonderful to meet so many interesting people, and we would have indigenous people and Rinpoches and natives from their indigenous cultures, and it was wonderful to experience all the energies and the different kinds of ways that people are teaching and what they're talking about, and ancient teachings and newer teachings.
And mentioning no names, I know that some of our speakers used to quite regularly come to the center, right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's how I got connected to you. So it's all interwoven. It's great.
It's all interconnected.
It keeps expanding, which is what it's supposed to do. We're all interconnected, and we all become this huge kind of tribe when we realize we're all part of the same thing and come from the same place.
Totally. Awesome. That's an incredible experience. So Jodi, this is, as we know, it's the Multidimensional Human Experience Global Summit. And obviously you have yourself lived the life of a multidimensional human. And I know I've got much wisdom to share on that with our viewers. Could you talk on that a little bit, please, and tell us what your understanding is of, who are multidimensional humans? Why are we different? What's it all about? Are we different?
Well, I really feel that we're all multidimensional humans, or however you want to call us, beings. Humans are just, being human is just part of our multidimensionality. And because we all come from the spark, we're all sparks of creation, sparks of God, Goddess, all that there is, spirit, whatever you want to call it. But that's really what we are and where we're from. But we're here in different hubs or stopping off points. Sometimes we've been in the different star systems. Sometimes we're here on this planet. You know, there's different places. Sometimes we're just in the other realms of no, you know, sort of no time kind of experiences. And but I feel that being a human and we have the ability to feel, you know, emotionally in this realm, which we don't have the emotional body really in the same way in the higher realm. So we feel through our bodies. So part of what I find for a lot of people is that they're not fully committed to being here because they have one foot in and one foot out, just like in case it's not working out so well. I think that affects people in terms of their ability to, in terms of their sensitivities to the energies being here and coming in. It's important to, first of all, to be very grounded. So we have to connect to Earth. You have to be connected to the core of the Earth. So I usually do something where you connect your heart to the heart of the Earth in a meditation. You start to feel the heartbeat of the Earth and you link up with that and you sort of go into the same rhythm. That helps people to, I find for me, it helps me to ground, but it also helps others to do the same because it's like being in the mother energy. When you're in your mother's womb, your heartbeat beats with the mother's heartbeat and you're nurtured by the mother. And then unfortunately, sometimes when people come out of the womb, when they're born, they start to experience not the highest kind of experiences. So they start to doubt their intention of coming here. And I believe that we've met with our own councils of light before we came into this realm. Each of us have our own councils to kind of talk over what we're going to be doing and what we're here to learn about and what are our gifts to bring through and why we're coming and to be part of a greater whole. And then when people get here, then they forget why they decided to come, and then they realize it's not the easiest planet to be on right now. And this is actually so what happens is we need to go back to understanding and embodying the fact that the original higher conscious choice was a good, right, and safe choice. So that when we come into this earth and we have feelings to direct our which is our feminine energy, to direct ourselves as we're being held in the energy and the gravity of the earth, like the Mother Earth, the purest form of Mother energy, holding us so that we can be here, trusting that our choices are good, right, and safe. And a lot of people are not always taught that they have choice or that they are able to, you know, do what they want to do, or, you know, they have to be what other people expect them to be, or something like that. Or they've been in certain countries, you know, people get tortured, or even in their own, you know, abuse, all these kinds of things. So those, I believe, are lessons that karmically that we came to shift. But in order to really be here, you have to be grounded, because it's like if you're like an antenna, you know, highly sensitive people, but we're all sensitive. We all have all the same senses. Some are just more heightened. So we come in that way, and some of us will get to that point. But in that heightening of your sensory perception, what happens is it's like we're antennas that we're bringing through a signal. And if you're not grounded, the same thing like if you have a radio or TV, you need to have a grounding wire in order for you to not have mixed messages come in, mixed signals, overlapping of, you know, static and all these kinds of things. So you get the clearer, direct connection when you're in alignment with the earth as well as the higher realms. So that we're here to be all dimensions, so that we know that we don't lose anything by coming here or even gain anything. We're just here in a combination of all of this, knowing that no matter who we are, we carry everything that we are and expand our energies through our heart. We're connected to everything. So always, and we have simultaneous realities in all these different dimensions because we're extensions of our own selves. Also, this particular time period is a 26,000 year cycle, which has only happened, I think, 3 or 4 times. So the beings that have come into this on the earth, however we're participating, some more obviously in this way that we're talking about, and others doing whatever they do, but everybody makes a difference in being here. This is a 26,000 year cycle where there's a particular alignment with the stargates in relation to the earth, so that transmissions of higher frequency can infuse us while we're in these bodies to be able to awaken to remembering ourselves as God in human form. And that we have all the gifts and all the other things of that, of the highest spirit. So we get to create all the things that we want, but from a higher perspective. And we've tried this before, like Atlantis was one of those times where we've used our power inappropriately and we kind of blew ourselves up. So this one, we're going through a lot of the structures are shifting and changing. Things are starting to, it's been prophesied that there will be structures that start to fall to the sides. We're seeing that in all the governments now, especially in our country. A lot of things are changing all over the world, and it affects all of us because we're all part of the same thing. So we came to be here to awaken and to clear and to realign, to clear things from the past and realign to that higher sensory perception. But we have to be grounded. If we're going to be here, we have to commit to really being here, simultaneously knowing that we're still connected to everything else. So we're not losing anything, but by being more grounded, when you anchor something, you don't feel the same when you're anchoring yourself. And the earth is here holding space for us to just be held like the mother and to feel, to be able to align with our feminine energy of being able to feel, to create, to be creative, to know through feeling. And even if you don't know yet, to know that the knowing will come in the appropriate time, in that full knowing. So even knowing in the not knowing, it's like being in the womb and just being nurtured to come out, not knowing how this is all going to go until you get there. So we're in that place right now, that in-between place. And we're actually in a place where it's called the Lion's Gate. It's the day out of time was yesterday. I just did an event on that. And it was about the space between our calendar and the Mayan calendar. There was one day that just doesn't fit into time. And it's about realigning into natural time, but going through forgiveness and clearing all debts, karmic and otherwise, so that we come back into this heart-open space of pure compassion for ourselves and others, and really bring ourselves into this alignment with the earth and also with the sun, which is more the father energy. So you have the mother and father's nurturing energy, which activates our own inner maternal and paternal parts of our being. And then the other piece of this is we're right in a place right now because of this, all these energies shifting and moving us to new levels of consciousness. This Stargate energy, this Lion's Gate energy is related to the star system. It's starting today, actually, which we're taping. It's the Galactic New Year.
It's the 26th of July, yeah, that we're recording this interview. So it's the Galactic New Year.
This is a really intense time. It's like another whole shift and movement in these next few weeks, because right now we're in a place of the Lion's Gate is connected to the blue star Sirius. And in that time frame from the 26th of July to the 8th of August, which is called the 8-8, that's a particular time when there's an alignment with the star system Sirius with our sun. So they start getting closer and closer, they get connected, and then they directly are in alignment with the earth. So and the star system of Sirius, I work with a lot of the libraries from the star system Sirius. Sirius is a star system that's connected to mastery and wisdom and the being of masters of the wisdom of what we know from all dimensions and time and space. And so we have an opportunity in this time frame to be able to awaken to a whole new level of consciousness, because it's closer to our sun right now. And the sun is also Leo energy. We're in the energy of, astrologically, of Leo. Leo is all about the heart. The heart is, it's ruled by the heart. So Leo is about leadership and moving out into the world, being in the spotlight, allowing yourself to even have the spotlight of your own light into your own love, into your own parts of your being, to bring forth this amazing being, all the amazing beings that we are, so we can really fully express ourselves and create what we want and be.
Well, Jodi, can I just speak into that for a second, just very quickly, right? Because my birthday is on the 8th of August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my mum said that I shot out, which is no surprise.
Yeah.
It's just interesting hearing what you said about the Leo energy, and here I am doing this summit, right? And it's like totally stacking into what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the galactic, New Year is all about, connecting to being multidimensional. So we're here to remember that we are multidimensional beings, and that it's not just a linear little space we have. We're expansive. But the Leo energy is ruled by the heart. So that energy is all about love and heart energy and creation. It's a really good time to really create things, or to be artistic if you can, or however, whatever. But because it helps us to ground the energies, and it also helps us to feel what we want to make things happen. So there's a really strong kind of portal of energy starting today, all the way through to the 8th, where that whole alignment is finally in that particular alignment, but we're going into that. So we're feeling like an energetic push coming in, and transmissions being infused into us. A lot of people might start dreaming more specifically around these kinds of things. And also it's a time to let go of things that are not really in alignment with the truth. So the illusions moving to understanding truth and living rather than just surviving. And after the 8th, on the 12th of July is the ending of this portal. It closes. So in this, it's a really important time to really get clear. What is it I want to be doing, or how do I want to be in my life, and to start to make some decisions that make more sense for moving forward. But there's also, like your birthday's on the 8th, the 7th is an eclipse.
Yeah.
So we have an eclipse there, and we also have a major eclipse on the 21st of August. And
so this is because Jodi, this interview is going out on the 16th of August to everybody, right? So by the time they watch this, we've gone past the Lion's Gate, but we're still in that eclipse energy, aren't we? And
yeah, the eclipse energies always last for 6 months to a year. Eclipses always force the appropriate changes to bring you to a much higher level of your consciousness and to align you. So you might be feeling like all these themes. It's very good it's important to really pay attention to the themes coming up, and really work with the themes that are coming up in your life at that time, because there's a reason for it. You either need to accept something or let go of something, and so that you can move through different things.
Or both. Normally both. It's like the whole shebang.
But when people are very sensitive, you're asking me about how to be sensitive, how to maintain that. Part of it is being very grounded, but also as best you can, if you have to go hug a tree or walk in the woods or on the sand, or just be around nature is helpful. But everything is everything. Everything's made from nature anyway. We have bricks in New York, but they're it's from the ground, and there are trees here. But it's easier when you can go places where there's not as much electric energy. Helpful to be in magnetic energy, which is more feminine. So it's more nature, like natural kind of experiences. But also, doesn't mean you can't be in both, but that would help. But also, I feel the biggest piece is keeping the heart open, and you can breathe into your what's called your divine flame, which is your love energy, and your oxygen. It's like oxygenating a fire. You give it oxygen to bring it up. So you're breathing your own. You can do this consciously. You can tell yourself, when I breathe consciously or unconsciously, I'm always igniting my divine flame within. My love can be expanded through my heart and through all my cells, and then expanding out into the world, so that I can not. But we have to realize we're beacons of light, like a lighthouse. You don't unplug the light and then it shines somewhere else. You have to stay plugged in. So even if you're connecting to higher realms, you need to stay grounded and anchored. Remember, we were talking about the grounding core. So you get the purest form of the purest connection. But then also the heart is the biggest key. If you want to, as you open your heart, and we're as humans, we get hurt all the time from all sorts of things. And we immediately, to protect ourselves, we go into survival, we close our heart. And the idea is, even if you do, reopen it gently, just nurture yourself in that, because it's the open heart that's the key to feeling connected to the earth, to yourself, to all things of consciousness on the earth, as well as all the beings and all the guides and all the support systems on the other side, in the other dimensions, so that you feel your connection to really being that multidimensional self.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what I do also is I work with sound and with languages of light that activate your consciousness and your codes of consciousness. They help to heal. And through the Akashic record readings, I help people to understand other time periods that may have had an influence on what's going on now. You can't change what happened in your past, or past with an S, but you can change the energetic charge that your life is still being filtered through.
Mm-hmm.
So I give information to unravel all that to help you to understand and know what that's about. And separately from that, I then they bring through sounds and light languages that will help to remind you of your codes, awaken your codes of consciousness, but also to clear instantly. It's like an instant shift. And, and I work with all different guides. Saint Germain is good to call on because Saint Germain works with the violet flame moving through your being and through your field. And he's an alchemist. So it's like taking one thing and instantly, so when you put light on a shadow, it instantly turns to light. There's no processing. And we're at a point where there's so much energy being infused, higher frequencies, to awaken us to that same kind of higher understanding and higher living, that we need to just allow ourselves to just be able to know that we can now shift instantly. We don't have to go through a whole process and show ourselves, okay, it's working. The working part is that you shift and you're already at a different place. It's like expecting miracles. Usually we expect miracles we usually don't expect. So you start to expect that. You start to want to create things and expect it will happen. Just make sure you really know you want it. Because if you create it, then you're dealing with it. So so it's a very important time to really be clear about what you want in order to be able to make that happen, because it's going to start to happen. Mm-hmm. And then you have to take responsibility, the ability to respond to what you're creating.
Mm. Amazing answers. Thank you so much, Jodi. Yeah, lots of wisdom coming through and guidance, and I feel a lot of support for sensitive people who are watching this. So thank you so much. What would you say, Jodi, to people who are still perhaps unclear about what their purpose is? They know that they're here for something specific, but they don't understand what that is yet. What is your advice on how people can best align with their missions and their highest potential?
Now, first of all, when you really get aligned with your highest mission or potential, when you do anything really, there's a responsibility involved. And I think people don't realize that until they get to that point, and some part of their consciousness might be frightened of that. Also, some people have had other lifetimes or even experiences in this lifetime where they weren't really nurtured and supported in being who they are and being able to express themselves fully. So you might want to do if you can do it on yourself, or you have someone you can go to. I work with really helping people to unravel things and understand the lessons. And also, so when you get the lesson about something, it moves it through. But I think for people to really know what they're here for, you can start by doing the things you love to do. And might have been told, oh, you can't be an artist because you're not going to make money, so you have to be an accountant or something.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't have worked for me as an accountant. But luckily I was in a family that supported me in that way and told me, it would be great for you to go to art school, and encouraged me. So I had a lot of encouragement. And I was lucky in this lifetime. But I've had other lifetimes where I was like killed and tortured for speaking out about my beliefs. So I came in really quiet, and then shifted when I got into my alignment. And now, as you can see, I just keep talking. So, but I think the biggest thing is to really start to ask yourself, go inward and maybe close your eyes and sort of go into a quick little internal talk with yourself or meditation, and just ask the highest part of your being. You may not even understand what that means, but there's the divine presence, the goddess presence of our beings that has all the knowing. And if we ask, and also if we connect to the feminine part of our being that has the feeling of knowing what to know, to give that to the masculine to take it out and make it happen. But just to know, if you're not quite sure, just ask for the highest understanding of what am I here to, how am I here to be, and what am I here to do, that would make me happy. I think the key is, when I do this work, even just talking to you, I'm like, I feel like I'm like talking really fast because I'm trying to get it all in, but
it's good.
It's so exciting for me to just be able to talk about these things with somebody who's willing to listen. You know? You know, but it's also, it's an exchange. You know, you to know what to talk about here. But
and there's a lot to cram into this interview, so but it's great. Hey, look, there's so much information coming through. I love it.
But I think the key is at least to start with doing the things and being how you want to be as best you can. Give yourself permission, even if no one else did. And then also be around people who support you in that. You know, be around people that your friends are the kind of people that really support you, that don't take you away from what you're doing. And also do what you try to find things, even if you're not doing it as a major mission, start with just doing things you love to do. And just give yourself that opportunity. Once you start doing things you love to do, you're already starting to be in alignment, and you start to feel better, health-wise, as well as on every level of your consciousness, and you know, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, at all levels. You start to kind of align, and it brings you into a certain structure. It's like when your back goes out and you kind of put it back in terms of like a chiropractor. It realigns you, and you feel better. You don't have to keep overcompensating for something that isn't what you really want or want how to feel.
Very true. Yeah.
For that question a little bit.
No,
so that's
awesome.
The way to start, because once you start like that, everything else, the opportunities start. When you're in alignment, more opportunities start to fall into place.
The synchronicities start happening, right?
Yeah.
And even for people, I mean, we've all got different stories. You know, I was in corporate for 16 years and always felt like this doesn't really feel aligned, you know. And a bit of confusion about why I was doing it, but hey, it was paying the bills, and you keep on going. But now that I've gone through that transition, and I can look back and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand why it was necessary for me to have those skills.
Right. Yeah, because there's a part of me as an artist, I'm not, the business part for me is always more difficult because my brain doesn't go there, but I'm able to do it because I have to. But even the art, you know, I started with my art, and then I came into all this work, and I still do my art. I integrated everything, but the art for me as a child, and also growing up and still maintaining that, it was a way for me to be in a place of just doing what I love to do, and not really thinking, not having any rigid lines around it. You know, I just was able to explore and express through the creative process. But I also, in that creative process, I was channeling. I was opening myself up to just bring through something that was nothing to create something. It's a blank piece of paper. We do that every moment of every day. We're always creating something from what appears to be nothing, but we keep trying to align it with what we used to do, what we're told to do, what we're supposed to be doing, where we're supposed to be going. Right now, in this particular time frame, there's an open space, a portal of energy during this, especially this Lionsgate thing, that there's a space of like, they're like the energies of Sirius are connected to these lion energies. And there's like the lion of the past and the lion of the future. And we're not able anymore, because we've already energetically, we shifted. We can't go back to having a place to step off from of the past. And the future hasn't come in yet, even for us to prepare, knowing where we're going toward. So we're in this in-between sort of hanging in midair, it feels like. So we just have to, in our inner knowing, our higher knowing, we have this part of us that does know when the appropriate time is right, we will know, and then we're already moving forward anyway. But we have to go into this feminine, balance of the masculine and feminine on the whole planet. So that's part of coming into that other piece. So that we anchor into the earth and still be connected to the higher realms, and have the maternal, paternal parts of the mother and the son, and the earth and the sun. And in this time period, it's these stars, which are energies that are connected to, Sirius is the wisdom and the mastery of those teachings. The sun is the nurturing of the father energy, and the light, bringing light to things and the heat of our existence. And then also the earth is the anchoring of it all, so that we can pull all these pieces together as we're in this open space of no time, and then it will be we'll be brought into a new level, and then the eclipses are coming, and they're going to just chop things up so that you can't go back to anything that was, because it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah. So, exciting time. Exciting time. Rapid shifts. But yeah, all in alignment, and there's a lot of trust involved, isn't there, with aligning with your highest potential. And you know, I just keep on following the thing that's next in front of me and taking that inspired action, and it's kind of leading me down a path.
And it's not always the easiest thing to do. Even when we know all this, we can get bogged down with all sorts of stuff, but it is about trusting, and trust usually needs to be earned. So we're trying to wait to see if anything good is going to happen, but we're trying to decide what the good thing is that we want before it even happens. And it may not be what you think, because we're in that in-between time, I feel, because we're shifting our consciousness during this time. So we may not be the same in a few weeks from now, so for what we want to create. So we're not, instead of wasting our time creating things that don't make sense, just stay in a place. The idea would be to be as clear and as grounded and as nurturing to yourself and others as much as possible, always, but especially now, so that you can really trust that you did make that good, right, and safe choice by coming in. That higher part of you knew something to come here. Not all beings were able to get here. We are here because we were meant to be. And those that are leaving now, some of them are leaving because it's too difficult to continue on, but most likely it's also they did what they needed to do while they're here, and they'll continue to grow on the other side.
Yeah, very true.
So it's all kind of part of the plan.
Yes.
And one other thing I wanted to say was that if you think of us as a puzzle, you know, those jigsaw puzzles where all the little lines between each piece.
Yeah.
If everybody took their rightful place in that puzzle, instead of trying to be like someone else or not taking their commitment to their own spot, once you take that, you go into the right places, the bigger picture forms, and you know you're part of a greater whole, a greater picture. And then all the lines, when all the pieces are in place, all the lines kind of disappear. We all know that we're all one. So we're coming into this unity consciousness through the heart, the fifth dimensional understanding of the open heart, where we're compassionate and we're loving, and we know we're part of a greater whole. We all play our own parts in it, and everybody is just as important as each other. And in that, we're all, you know, the sixth dimension is more about holding that consciousness, maintaining it, of that unity consciousness. We're moving out of polarities right now and having to have the compassion for the both sides of patterns, so that in the open heart of compassion, it holds it and becomes oneness, and then we can move to that higher level. But the energies are also being supported, or they're supporting us through being transmitted to us from the higher dimensions. While so it's awakening. We're just awakening, and all the parts have just been asleep. We're just awakening back to remembering who we already are.
Yeah, I love that. Awakening back to remembering. Yeah, very well put. Cool. Thank you so much, Jodi. What I'd like to do now is just invite you to speak about your amazing and very generous free gifts that you're offering our viewers. Now, I'm a big fan of this because I'm a huge fan of the light languages. And I know that this is going to be involved in your gift, Jodi.
Yeah, I'm going to do something that will probably be I'm going to give 3 gifts, and it'll probably be between the 3 about a half an hour of time, but you can do each one separately. There'll be 3 vibrational sound and light language activations. And one would I think I'm going to do one that's a loving heart opening activation for higher connection to all. Like I said, it opens your heart, you connect to everything. Awakening your codes of consciousness is another one. And that awakens all your awareness and wisdom. And then, and to bring that in, and I'll probably speak through it, channel some things through it, but it's mostly sound and light languages. And then the other one, the last one, is sacred sounds for healing, rejuvenation, and regeneration. So that can help with all levels of health and well-being, and just opening ourselves up to new levels of ourselves, inwardly and out.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. That is a beautiful free gift, or 3 free gifts. And everybody, what we're asking you to do in order to access those, if you could email Jodi direct, and I'm going to give you her email address on the email. So just drop Jodi an email and request the 3 activations, and Jodi, you're gonna send them an email. Yeah, with those. Awesome.
Great.
Well, listen, thank you so much, Jodi. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor doing this interview with you. I feel that so much incredible wisdom and guidance and experience has really come through in this interview.
I really appreciate you including me in this, and it's been my pleasure to meet you and to be part of this whole thing. It's just an important time, and I think we can work together. It's a wonderful opportunity for me and for everyone. So I'm grateful, and thank you so much, and sending you and everyone else lots of love.
Thank you. Yes, it's been an amazing part of my journey to create this summit and connect with everybody, and connecting with the viewers. It's just a beautiful part of my journey. So thanking everybody for watching this interview. Please reach out, let me know what you thought to this interview. Please go and grab Jodi's free gifts, and we hope that you got a lot out of this interview, and a lot of insight and guidance and support. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and happy eclipse, everybody.
Good luck.
Looking forward to hearing what shifts in your reality.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jodi.